Hey, and welcome back to this part 2 of our ballet workout series. Yesterday I posted part 1, which was standing exercises, and we really worked the lower body. Today we're going to be coming onto the mat, and we're going to be working on our core, our glutes, and our arms, and as well as our posture, making this 2-part series a total body workout. So if you're ready, just grab your mat and yourself, and we'll get right into it. Starting off in our easy pose and just going back with our shoulders, going through the whole shoulder blade. So if you already did part 1, you really don't need to do this warm up, but if you'd like a little break before we start the part 2, then by all means, go for it. And now we're just gonna come forward after this one. And forward, feeling the whole shoulder blade here. And now inhale, let's just bring those shoulders back after this one, opening the chest, lengthening in the spine, and going to the side with the neck, stretching out those neck muscles. Sitting tall. And now coming to the other side, hold, keeping those shoulders away from the ears. And now coming all the way down, and just taking nice inhales and exhales here. Just because we're doing ballet doesn't mean we don't have to focus on our breath. And now let's just come up, and we'll take a nice side stretch going to one side, and right away we'll go to the other side, adding movement, and other side, this time holding here. Nice long side body. You can look up and release, and one more time, side to the other side. And now holding on the other side. Beautiful stretch, feeling that side body. And now releasing all the way down into this easy pose, nice straight and long back. And just breathing nice and deeply here. Inhale and exhale. And now let's just add a rock side to side as we slowly come up. Just adding movement into that lower back. And now let's switch out the legs and repeat that. Inhale and reaching up, lengthening. And exhale, coming down. Nice straight back, forehead down to the ground. And holding here. And now let's add that rock side to side as we slowly come up. Just stretching the lower back a little bit more. And coming back to center. And we're just going to get right into it. So just swing your legs around, bending your knees. Inhale, reaching forward, and exhale, coming very slowly down onto the mat and onto our backs. We're going to start off with our ab exercise, so we're just going to warm up the abs first. So belly button to the spine, bringing our arms back, and then coming forward into a nice crunch position. So back with the arms, forward with the arms. And I'm doing a nice little flowy movement with my fingers and hands. So very important to keep your abs engaged here. So always thinking about tucking that belly button to your spine or down onto the mat. And back. And forward. And back. And we're trying to hold a little bit when we come forward. So not going very quickly up and then back down. And hold. And last one. And then we're going to add a bridge. As we bring our arms back, we're going to lift our hips up. Then bringing them down and then lifting again into our crunch. So back with the arms, lift up, down, and lift up with the upper body. And lifting our pelvis here, keeping it tucked under. You don't want to lift it by arching your back. And up. And crunch. And up. Feeling those glutes engaged here. And up with those hips. And crunching up, engaging those abs. Hold that position with your abs. And crunch. And back. And lift up. And crunch. And back. And lift up. And still keeping this nice flowy movement with our arms and our hands and our fingers. And up into the crunch. And now let's pulse it. So pulsing up, up, up. Very nice and quickly here. And finish. Release. Give yourself a moment. We're going to get right into our bridge series. So we're first off going to start with our right leg, lifting it up, stretching the knee, and we're going to lift our hip up and down and up, keeping that pelvic tilt here. You don't want to arch in the back, as well as keeping that knee nice and extended, pointing the toe, so you're engaging that whole leg, including the calf muscles. And now as we come down, we're going to bend our free leg and then we stretch up. So stretching the leg every time we come up with the hips and bending the leg every time we come down. Keeping that toe pointed, stretching the knee, pelvic tilt, down and up and down, up. Final one, then we're going to stretch our leg, flexing the foot, keeping our hips up, and then pointing the leg up. So flex down, pointing up. Keeping that pelvic tilt here. Keeping that knee nice and extended. And flex. Point and flex and point. Few more here. And last one. Now we're going to hold here and pulse it up. So tiny little pulses. You can either flex or point your foot here, whatever feels good for you. Pulse, 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 and finish. Good. Bring it down. Stretch that hamstring. We're going to be stretching both hamstrings, don't worry. And now release your leg and we'll come on to the other side right away. So we're just going to lift up and down. Simple as that. Keeping the toe pointed, knee is stretched, and we're just keeping that nice pelvic tilt, trying not to arch in the back. If you ever feel like your back is really hurting here, you might be arching it too much. It's really not important how high it is, but that we feel the engagement in our glutes. And now let's add the knee bend. And stretch. So bending the knee as we come down, stretching the leg as we come up and down, up and down, stretching that knee, pointing that toe, breathing here. Good. And the last one. And now let's come flex down and point up, keeping those hips up, point and flex, point and flex, stretching that leg, working the whole leg here. Flex and point, flex and point. Good. And now let's pulse it. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Pelvic tilt here, everybody. Good, and hold it and release. Grab your leg and give it a good stretch here. Either flexing or pointing your foot. And now let's stretch the bottom leg. We're going to come for our hip circles. So we're just going to bring that leg inward and around. Inward and around. Just 5, and then the other way. Keeping those hips planted on the mat, so try not to lift them. And now let's bring that leg up. We're going to lift our upper body and come for single straight leg switches. So you can lift that bottom leg, and we're just going to pulse it first. So pulse it twice, then switch. Pulse it twice, then switch. You can always keep your head down here. You don't necessarily need to keep it up. Keeping those legs extended. And pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch, pulse, pulse, switch. Good, keep going, keep those abs engaged. Last few, and last one after this one. And hold it, release your body. Keep that leg extended, and we're just gonna take the circles inwards, keeping the hips on the ground. And around and up and around and up. Good, last one, and holding. And now we're going to lift our upper body up once more. You don't have to keep it up. You can even keep your hands behind your head if that feels better. And we're going to take it double time. So switching right away without the pulse. And switch it. Switch it like you're a scissor. Keeping those legs extended. This is very quick, but you can take it at your own pace. Good, engage those abs and release. Release back onto the mat, and let's stretch both of our legs. We're gonna come for inner thigh exercise, either hands under your bum or to the side, and we're just going to switch our legs, crossing them very nice and quickly. Toes are pointed. So ever so quickly here. Making sure to engage the abs here because we're slowly going to bring those legs down ever so slightly. And then we're going to bring them back up all at the same time as we are switching the legs. So switch, 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 and down, switch, 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 and up, switch, switch, switch. Just very quickly with those feet and back up. And as we come down, we're going to hold here and keep crisscrossing the feet and the legs. Engage those abs. Hold it. And now let's come back up. Good. So just a few of those. Bend your knees. Give yourself a good squeeze. And now we'll come and work on our inner thighs again. So stretch the legs. We're going to open up the legs, point the feet, and then flex as we cross the legs back to center. So point, and flex. Open and cross. Open and cross. And every time you bring the legs back together, you want to use those inner thighs to squeeze everything together. And squeeze, and squeeze, and squeeze. Keeping the abs engaged as well. And squeeze, 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 flex, and hold it here. Good. Just stretch the legs and bend your knees. Give yourself a good hug again. And now let's just release the knees and roll up back to our mat. We're going to work on our arms a little bit. So stretch your legs, bring your arms and hands behind, and just lift your hips up. Bring your head back, hold here. And slowly coming back down. We're going to come and bend our elbows ever so slightly as we keep the hips lifted. So just pulsing here, really working those arms. You can even bend your knees here if this is too difficult for you. And bend, 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 lift those hips up. And last few, and last one. Good, just release here. And lift your arms up, inhale, exhale, let's take a nice forward stretch. You can bend your knees if it's too much for you. Otherwise, keep those knees stretched. Breathing here. And now slowly rolling up. So coming to our last exercise, we're going to come for swan arms. So get into a nice comfortable seated position. We're just going to bend our elbows and then stretch our arms. And we're bending in a downward motion. So trying to create a nice little wave within our arms, like we would be flying. And stretch, stretch, stretch. Stomach is engaged and shoulders are away from the ears. And now let's bring the arms higher, so stretching out to the sides, like you have wings. Very fluid here, feeling your whole arm. Good. Keeping those abs engaged and sitting tall, trying not to slouch here. Shoulders are down, away from the ears. And now higher, so stretching in an upward motion. And very important to not lift your shoulders here. And stretch, stretch, and stretch. Good, we're almost there. Few more. And now we're going to come for big swan arms, coming down and all the way up, down and up. And you can follow this movement with your head. Just have fun with it. But keeping everything nice and fluid, nice and soft movements with the hands. Few more. I know it's hard, but just breathe through it. We're almost there. And last one after this one. And we'll hold up, and we're just going to come down slowly, but only our wrists are going to be moving. So making a nice wave-like motion, but just the wrists. And releasing down. Beautiful, everybody. So let's just make our way into a nice, easy pose. And we'll take a few stretches before we end this workout. So just grab the palms of your hands together, stretch and open that chest. Inhale and exhale, lower your body down. Trying to bring your arms back or forward, however you're looking at it. And then release the arms, come down in this easy pose. Hold. And now coming back up slowly. And back to center. Let's switch out our feet and repeat this one more time. So grabbing the palms of your hands, stretch and open. And now coming all the way down, forehead to the ground. And release the arms, bringing them forward. Stretching out the hips and the lower back one last time. And now let's slowly come up. And we'll take our final stretch as our side stretch. So just reaching, nice long side body. And release, inhale, exhale the other side. And release, beautiful. And we are finished. Thank you all so much for joining me on this series, and I'll see you all next time.